Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this is going to be my complete Arrow collection, part one. Now, I don't know how many parts this is going to be. I think it's going to be quite a few. I've got three shelves there. The bottom shelf there is the bigger stuff, the bigger box sets, special editions, Blu-rays. Up there is some 4K Blu-rays, special editions, and down there's a couple of special editions, too big for any other shelves. And behind us, I've got some DVDs. So I've got quite a lot of stuff to go through. Now I've done this video before, around about 3 years ago, but there's been quite a lot of additions to there, and some of them taken out as well. Now, I want to thank my good friend Mark Lee too. Now, Mark got in touch and said he would like to see a full Arrow collection. So I thought, yeah, what a good idea. Before I get into the video, I want to give a shout out to the channel Delboy3k1s Retro Zone. Now, recently I've been watching quite a few of Delboy's videos. They're quite long, they're quite sprawling, but I quite like that format. And it's basically like a recap of the week. And Delboy goes into a lot of stuff that's happened in this week. It's quite interesting to watch. And also on two of them, he has actually sort of talked about my channel, which I really can't thank Delboy enough for. And also what he has is he's kind of answered a question that we put out on one of my last videos about, Amazon, are they just wasting money? So when Delboy was talking about my video and his video, he did put forward the proposition that the Amazon drivers are against it. And I will say that whenever you're seeing Amazon driver, they're not taking a leisurely stroll up your drive. They're kind of running there. They want this thing like with you before they're back in the van. They're literally like a hurricane, which is a bit of a bad way to sort of run your business in general, isn't it? Now, I'd like to think that Amazon, which they won't do, they would think more about the people that they employ to say, look, if we don't give them like a trillion jobs to do, just give them like half a trillion to do, they might stand a better chance of getting these things and having no problems with the deliveries, and they're not sort of like cutting corners and stuff like that. And I think that Amazon, they do cut corners to save themselves some money, but in the end, I don't think they really do save themselves money, and I don't think they help the environment at all, because the stuff they've got, if they're going to send me two lots of gear and they've used like three lots of packaging. The two boxes on the second one and the one box on the first one. Well, that's counterproductive if they're trying to cut down on their packaging. They've actually sent me more for the same thing, and they're taking petrol to get the stuff back into where it's from, probably burned it in the skip or something, I don't know. So I just think that their business plan is quite flawed. So I'm going to leave a link to Delboy's channel down below. So please get across and check his videos out. So thanks for answering that question on that video, Delboy. Cheers, mate. So first up is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now I bought this on release. Most of these I bought on release actually, if I'm honest. And this was one of the first big box sets that Arrow put out. Now, as you know now, these don't have this bit where you can pull this side bit out. They're kind of like a sturdy box, a solid box, which is much better. But this, like I say, I bought this from new, and it shows you if you take good care of them, they will sort of last for a long time, even though the big hard boxes are the better ones. Now, this one I got this from HMV, cost 19.99, and I have seen this in CX at like stupid prices, like say like 50 quid, then 10 quid, then 5 quid. It's nuts. Actually, HMV for quite a while was selling this for about £8 or £9. It's like they couldn't get rid of them for a certain length of time. Now, I don't think that is the case. I don't know how much this one goes for online, but this has got two Blu-rays in. It's got a DVD. It's also got a big booklet as well. It's a great set, and it was one of the first ones where you thought, oh, Arrow are trying something different here. And I just looked, as soon as one of the shells, you thought, these look absolutely brilliant on there. And Arrow have certainly done a load more, and I've got loads more down there that I'll show you of this one. But it's great to get these in these special limited editions. Now, will I upgrade this? I know there's a 4K out there. At the moment, I'm not thinking about upgrading this to 4K. This is a really good picture on this, but I will tell you that most of these look absolutely brilliant. Arrow, you can trust them to do a really good job on them. And this set is like packed with extras. It was great to see this released in the UK, probably for the first time, fully uncut. It's just brilliant to have it, and I think that this is first of all when I thought Arrow were going to release some really amazing stuff uncut. When I thought, right, these are really. I mean, I've watched them for quite a while. I mean, this has came out. I bought this in around about 2013. I'm guessing, and since they've been releasing stuff like this, I've had a big eye on Arrow. These days, not so much. Unfortunately, they seem to be releasing a lot of stuff which is not cult classics, but it is what it is, I suppose. I've got to move on, but I really prefer Arrow to get them the teeth into stuff like this. The 4K from Arrow of this set would be brilliant. What I would like them to do is they can release it the same way, but as long as they made the box like a solid box, they would bring it up to sort of spec, as it were. So anyway, that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Next up is The Bride of Re-Animator. Now, when I got this one, I sent away for this from Arrow Store. And as you can see, because this box is quite flimsy in a way, it's prone to getting crushed. It's got a few crush marks on it, and that's just the way it was delivered. And that's why these hard boxes are much better, because you don't get this problem with it. But it's a lovely set. I love the color scheme. It's got lovely embossing in here. It's really weird how in the UK they have not done the Re-Animator, the first one, because when this came out, I thought, oh, they're definitely going to do Re-Animator. Of course, it never came out. I know Second Sight did it, but unfortunately, I really wanted Arrow to do it because, and they've done it in the States, they just haven't done it over here. I really like this sequel, actually, and like I say, this is a great presentation. It's a shame that these used to be like this. There's no way around you could get this because it just got crushed in the post. Unfortunately, even though Arrow were putting these out in a great way, they were at that time they were really good on the packaging, but unfortunately we're getting these crush marks. Bit of a shame that. So yeah, a bit of scuffing there. It is what it is, I suppose, but not these days they don't get like that because they have got these hard boxes. So that's The Bride of Re-Animator. Next up is the Marx Brothers at Paramount, 1929 and 1933. As you can see there, unfortunately, the curse of CX got there and the sticker stuck to, is that Zeppo Marx? Stuck to his head and pulled some of the actual paper off, which is just... Now these I've got on here, you've got duck soup, monkey business, horse feathers, the coconuts, and animal crackers. I used to watch the Marx Brothers all the time when I was younger. But it was great to get this for a really sensible price. Just a shame about that packaging. This is before I learned about how to get them things off with a lighter fuel. So that's the 4 Marx Brothers at Paramount. Next up is Demons. This is the Arrow window box. Now I never knew this, but Keith from Euphoria Pictures, linked down below, he's got all of these, the white box and the black box. I don't know why they've done Demons in a black box, but they did. Now, when these came out, you get your poster in. These are great special editions. I didn't think this was the window box, but apparently behind here, on this J card or this card, which I've never taken off, there is, you can see I can't see it from there. I don't want to take this off. It's never been taken off, actually. You can see that the actual window box is underneath this. So I want to thank Keith for telling me this, because I was saying to him, I says, why did these come out like this? I thought these were going to be window box. And he said, well, they are if you take that off there. So there you go. So yeah, because yeah, you can see the fact it's got the window box look to it. So anyway, this is a funny release, this, because when I got this one, I put it on because I want to watch it. I love this movie, as you know. So I put it on and I thought, hang on a minute, there's something about with this. It's got different sound cues and the different things that I know about this movie. They're not there. And what I realized was it was the American audio. Now I just didn't like it because I was so used to the one I've seen 1,000 times on VHS. I thought I can't get away with this. So ironically, I have never watched this. This version, it is included on the 4K now, but I had to keep this because the packaging on here is absolutely amazing. Great presentation, great picture. I don't know why they went for this window box in a black fashion. It was a bit strange, only done 2. But yeah, just a shame that this actual version on here didn't include the UK audio, which I'm quite used to, the international cut, which is on the 4K now, thank God. So yeah, so a bit of a strange one that's Demons. And yes, Demons 2. I bought these together. I'm sure they were £16.99 each, which is a good price for these, if I'm honest, for what you get. Now, Demons 2, at this point, I remember watching this on VHS, and I didn't like Demons 2 at all. I thought it was too much of a kind of rehash of the or Demons, but in a different sort of setting in an apartment block. But on reflection, when I watched it in 4K, I really enjoyed this. You've got to take it as just to say, right, I think it was a bit too critical back in the day. I thought, right, hang on a minute. I want to watch Demons too, but it's exactly the same movie. It's got the same people in playing different characters, which kind of threw us. But you've got to just say that when Italian movies do stuff, they do stuff like that. You just got to say, right, it is what it is, and just enjoy it for what it is, and stop being so critical. I think it was too critical of this movie. But if I just watching this to enjoy it, I've really enjoyed this movie, and it's not as good as Demons, of course it's not, but it's a really solid movie in itself, and I have a good time with it. Actually, it's much better than I thought it was. So that's Demons 2. So I put those ones on the shelves in the fashion of the biggest ones first. I've also put the two black window boxes together because I think they look better together. Now, next up, I've got the white window boxes. I haven't got them all. I did let quite a few of them go when I was saving up to buy me drum kit. It was something I knew I had to sort of let some things go, and they were like quite expensive at the time. You can get quite a lot of money on eBay for them. So I sell them. In reflection, I wish I hadn't have done that. I wish I'd chosen to sell other things. But I wanted to make sure I got the money for this because I only had a year to pay it back, which I did pay back, thank God. But anyway, I have got them in other versions on the shelves. There's none that I let go and haven't got at all. So you can say at least I've still got the movies, just not in this particular fashion. So first up on the white box labels is Caligula. Now, when I saw this coming out, I thought surely not, and then said yes, it's like the full version, and I thought no, it can't be because I used to have the American one on DVD, the full version. I thought, and the stuff in there, I thought there's no way, but it has. It's got every single thing. It's got all the outtakes as well because there's some really wow outtakes. So I'm still amazed that this thing came out, and the picture quality is quite good. But there's meant to be another cut coming out. Well, what they've done is they meant to, because this film is a bit of a mess, if I'm honest. It's not a great story. Actually, the backstory of this movie is much better than the movie, even though it's probably one of the most explicit movies that own on my shelves. Now, they've done another cut, apparently, or they're going to do another cut where they're going to take all the really over the top things out of it, and they're going to put like tidy the story up to make it, or maybe put extra bits in it to make the story of this film seem to be a bit better. I don't know how they can do that, and to be honest, that's mean they're gonna just cut this movie, and can they not do that and leave everything in it? I don't know. This movie, I think, is just destined to be a bit of a disaster. I don't even know the people who directed it have all took the names off it. They don't want anything to do with it. So I think the person who's, directed it isn't a proper director. It's just a complete mess. But a fascinating backstory. But yes, so this is a strange one to have released in any shape or form, especially in this one. So that's Caligula. Next up is Black Sunday. This is the Mario Bava masterpiece. I would love this to come out in 4K. It's black and white and it looks great on this edition. But I think, would I like Caligula on 4K? Not really. I think it's all right where it is. But this is, like I say, it's a masterpiece. Now, Hammer Horror must have taken something from Mario Bava because without the color element, this is kind of like a really gothic masterpiece, which is what Hammer tried to do, and I think they succeeded. This has got, I talk about this all the time, this has got this extra movie on called I Vampiri, which is credited as being the first ever talkie Italian horror movie. It's a great movie as well. It's got some amazing special effects, which I'm sure Mario Bava had something to do with. It's got these dissolves, like the werewolf when he used to dissolve from being, Lawrence Talbot into the werewolf, and you could see it sort of they would take another frame and they would put some more makeup on him and superimpose that frame over. On this one, somebody turns like elderly, but you don't see the face like do that. You just see these sort of lines coming on this face. It's incredible how they do it. It's one of my favorite special effects of all time, even though it's from 1960. You can't believe it. But this is such a good movie. It deserves to be on the 4K. I think there's some rights issues about Mario Bava's stuff now. Of course, how many times you heard that? Sadly. But would love to see this coming out in 4K. That would be a real hope that Mario Bava started going to that because with Blood and Black Lace coming out, the sky's the limit when it comes to his stuff, and that was one of the best 4Ks ever, even from 1966. Unbelievable. So that's Black Sunday. Next up is A Bay of Blood, Mario Bava again. Now, as you can notice here, I'm putting my Mario Bavas together. This is how I've got them lined up on the shelf. So when I talk about how do I put these things up, they're not really in alphabetical order because they go more for me. This is more like the director in this part. It's kind of a bit of a strange way to have all these things, but you'll understand that this is where if I want to find something, I've got a good idea whereabout it's going to be in the Arrow collection because there's quite a load of stuff there, and I've got to keep them. I could put them in alphabetical, but they would kind of be all like messed up and that. I've got to keep the white boxes together. The white boxes look great on the shelf. But this one, as I talked about this one quite a few times, literally Friday the 13th, even though this is made in 1971, like Friday the 13th has copied everything of this in a way. It's kind of different in, in elements, but, you can see the Friday the 13th element when you watch it. If someone says to you, you're watching like a proto movie of Friday the 13th, you would see it a mile off. But it's a great movie and it's really gory for the time. It was a banned video nasty as well. So that's A Bay of Blood. Next up is Lisa and the Devil, another Mario Bava. Now it's got two cuts of the movie on here. It's got Lisa and the Devil, and it's also got The House of Exorcism, which is the same movie, but it's recut. And I think what had happened was with The Exorcist coming out, they thought, let's just take this movie and make it into an Exorcist ripoff. So he went back and recut this movie. He didn't like it at all because it's a Brit Eklund. I think she's in it, and she has to sort of play someone possessed. So she's got this like sort of like the language coming out was absolutely like way out there. And I don't think that Mario Bava liked what they did, and I don't think Britt Eklund liked what they were doing as well with that. She wasn't, into that. But anyway, they filmed that, so you get the two cuts on that. So it's quite an interesting cut to have to hear this, this completely alternative version. And I do think that Lisa and the Devil is a much better film. But if you want shock value, and an Exorcist rip-off, and you can tell it's just a blatant rip-off as well. It's not as if even it's done like well, because Mario Bava is one of the best directors in Italian horror like history. But you can tell he's really just going through the numbers when he put out the House of Exorcism cut. So that's Lisa and the Devil and the House of Exorcism. And lastly on this video is Inferno. Now everyone's talking about the fact that this just not being available on 4K. It's a bit of a travesty because I think it's got some rights issues. Now, the fact is that Arrow have done this once before. I would really like to think they could get their hands in it again and make this into a great 4K. It looks great on the Blu-ray, one of the best ones that I saw, but it's just the 4K would be better on one of the big boxes that Arrow do. I've got them all up there on the 4K front, and they just look sensational together. And this one would be Icing on the Cake, and it's one of Dario Argento's like masterpieces. It's not as it's like Suspiria 2. It's not really like Suspiria 2. It's just a kind of part in this trilogy, this loose trilogy he's got. And it's a really good looking movie. It just hasn't got the same beats as Suspiria. I think Suspiria is his masterpiece. But this is up there, and it's got some great set pieces in it. Doesn't really make too much sense, unfortunately. Got a great score as well. And just can't get enough of these white box editions when they came out. You just didn't know what was coming out next, and when it came out you were thinking, oh, I can't believe this is the next one coming out. And all these ones that came out were ones you'd been dying to see, or you'd heard about, or you had on a decent copy. I did have this one from America. Forgot to release it. It was a Blue Underground, something like that. And but this one was by far the best because you get this stuff and you get all this gear inside it. So there's no way you could like pass this one up. These were like at the time, these were the zenith of special editions. And I think what had happened was because they were too hard to sort of produce, and there was a lot of elements to it, and they were always getting damaged in the post when people were putting the stuff back in. They were like, and putting it into the collection, they were catching all the edges on it. It was like making a right mess of them because when you see them in CX, not the CX, take any notice of the stuff they put on the shelves. They usually are a bit wrecked here and that and ripped, which is a big shame. But if you looked after them, they were like an excellent addition to your collection. So don't forget to go down to Delboy's channel down below and check out his videos. So, thanks for watching, you take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!